All I can say is that it was given to me on a silver platter. God leads you to the Guru. When the disciple is ready, the Guru appears. I heard of a very interesting case of a man who decided he would seek God, and he went up to the mountains in Southern California and had a little cabin there. And one day he came out and there was an old man from India. He just materialized, and that was his Guru. And so the Guru will come. In my case, I didn't know anything about Indian philosophy. I didn't know the word Guru. I didn't know the word karma or dharma. I didn't know anything really. Bring it on in. When I was wanting to become a playwright, and I was studying stagecraft. Thank you very kindly. At the Dock Street Theater in Charleston, South Carolina, and somebody mentioned the Bhagavad Gita to me, and I'd never heard of this word, but it rang a deep bell in me. I never forgot it. And later I came upon that book and read it. Then I came upon Autobiography of a Yogi. In fact, I came upon the two the same day. And Autobiography of a Yogi had a picture of Yogananda on the cover. And I was very attracted. But when I saw that the book was dedicated to Luther Burbank, an American saint, I said, who can be an American saint? That's impossible. And so I refused to buy the book. And I bought the Gita, and but it's an interesting thing how God works these things out. Knowing as little as I did, I know that it would have been very difficult for me to make up my mind to come all the way from New York to California to meet Yogananda if my parents had been in the country with me. My father was sent by Esso, his company, to Cairo, Egypt. And he was an oil geologist, and his duty was to seek oil there. And my mother I was helping her to pack up. The day I put her on the ship to join my father, I went uptown New York and found the Autobiography of a Yogi. And I found the Gita, and I took the Gita first and read that. It's a short scripture and very deep. And then I came into New York, and I was trying to get a job on a ship because I figured they pay you good money and you have no chance to spend it. And I wanted to save money in order to go to some cheap place to live as a hermit. My thought was to go to South America because living would be cheaper there, I imagined, and I'd find a place in the jungle and just become a hermit. Fortunately, God prevented me from doing that because I wouldn't have known what to do. I didn't know anything about meditation or how do you seek God. In the Gita it said, if you want to know me, go to a solitary place and meditate on me, and that's all I knew. And I'd sit cross-legged on the bed and try to cross my eyes like that. And but I still didn't think I needed anybody because I had never met anybody. I was very independent as a young man, and I had never met anybody whom I would trust to teach me anything. I was perhaps arrogant, but I was also very sincere. When my mother started to teach me at the age of 5 how to read and write, I looked at her and said, how do you know? You're not a teacher, you're just a mother. Not the sort of thing you expect from a 5-year-old, but I was very determined. If I met somebody who I felt was an authority, then I would listen. But I had never met anybody who seemed to be an authority. Anyway, I was on 7th Avenue, and I was just about to cross the street to get into the subway to go down to Bowling Green to see if there was a ship that had come in for me. And I felt this force turning me toward 5th Avenue where that bookstore was. And I was excited because I hadn't made that decision. And when I got the book, I immediately went to Autobiography of Yogi and took it. And I remember this boy from high school, well, young man by then, from Scarsdale High. He was in the store at the same time, and he was talking to me in glowing terms about his future in television and radio. I don't know if television was quite an option then, but radio anyway, advertising. This was in 1948. And the more he talked, the more I clutched this book to my heart. And I read that book, and it just completely changed everything. I said, here's someone I can follow. And I took the next bus nonstop across the country, 4 days and 4 nights. And the first words I said to him were, I want to be your disciple. And he accepted me on that same meeting, at that same meeting. And so I never had a chance to read anybody else. I never did any philosophical, yes, but spiritual reading. I had just assumed nobody knew what they were talking about, and so I didn't want to read it. But meeting him, I knew he knew. And I have never, in 60 years since then, had a moment's doubt. But I can't offer that as the way for everybody. Most people have to test the waters and make sure they can jump in and go to this teacher and that teacher, and then gradually be led to one. And for those people, I would say, walk the counter, see which seems best, give it a try. If it works, then dive in more carefully. If it's really working, then commit yourself. But once you've committed yourself, then be true. Don't go shopping any further, because it will just dilute your concentration.